So I grew up in Panama. In case anybody doesn't know where that is, that's in Central America. We had two seasons, rainy and dry. If you need more explanation than that, it rained during rainy season and it was dry during dry season. And it was always hot. So, and then from there, we came back to the States and we went to Arkansas. So if you've never heard a hillbilly Spanish accent, it's very unique. So, so that's that. So I hope everybody enjoyed a little bit of a break. I hope you didn't have to spend the entire time working on assignments. It didn't look like it. I did check in, monitored things. I do have to send some praises out there. For the most part, everybody did exceptional in getting everything caught up. A couple of assignments here and there, but midterm grades looked really, really good. So round of applause for everybody. I don't take those things lightly. You guys put in a lot of work. Okay. Some people it's easier, some people it's not as easy, depending on schedules and everything. But I want you to know everybody is capable. Okay. Now, some people come in and it's like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I hope you're figuring out you can do these things. Okay. Always go into everything with an open mind. And so I heard people say if your mind is so open, your brain falls out. That's not what we want. Always go into thinking I can do these things, you know. It gives yourself the opportunity. Okay, an opportunity is what you want. If you go into it already saying, I can't, you're setting yourself up for failure. If you go in with a positive attitude, you're giving yourself a chance. You have abilities, you have skills. Don't go inside your head and tell yourself you can't. Um, there's a lot of people that will do that. They will be more than happy to tell you they can't. How many people have people around them that say, oh, you can't, you're wasting your time. I don't understand that. Let me tell you, there's a reason why. Because if you do it and succeed and go out there, they're left behind. And you've heard the phrase, misery loves company. They want to keep you there because they like the I told you so, this and that. But you can do this and you're going to make it. Okay? Because that's why I'm here. I know you can. I can do it. You can do it. People are capable and you're a people, right? Makes sense. And so I just really want to implore, I want you to believe in yourself as much as I believe in you. That sounded almost like preachy there, but it's because I truly do believe that we can do things. Do we always do it perfect? No. Do I do things perfect? No. I wish I could be close, but I would never want to say I'm a perfect person because I am far from it. I just like to let you know I perfect mistakes. If it's something can be done wrong, I probably have done it wrong. So that's a good thing that I have done that. So if anybody has an assignment from week 2 other than the discussions, I cannot give extensions on discussions. I want you to go into that evaluation, that self-evaluation assignment in week 3. It says week 2 self-evaluation because we always do the week prior. And on there, there's a question that says, did you complete everything in week 2? Put in no or check no, indicate no, and then there's a list of assignments. If you need an extension, you say yes. If you don't need an extension, leave it blank or put a no. And that way I will go in and I will give you the extension. The reason why I do that is everybody who wants an extension, I have to go into your account and do each one manually for every person that wants one. Okay, it's not a blanket one that I can go in and give everybody. Each individual person, I have to go in and do each one individually. That's why I have you check to see which ones you need. I want you to be aware of where you are and what you're doing. It's responsibility. You should know what you're doing. Okay. And if you have questions as to what you're doing, ask me and I will help you. But you should be aware, just like when you go into your job, you need to know what you're doing. Has anybody ever had a job where you went in and you really didn't know? I had that happen to me. I worked for, I don't know if anybody's ever been to St. Louis and they have that big arch there. You may have seen pictures of St. Louis. I was hired at the company that managed that arch. I was a systems analyst there. I was hired there for no pay. That's a fun job. Come work for us. We won't pay you. But that's what I had to do as a work program to get part of my degree. So I had to work for them for free. They put me in a little cubicle with a phone that had way more buttons than a phone should ever have. And of course, that phone started ringing. And I didn't know how to work the phone. There's all those buttons lighting up. So I was running from office to office telling people that they had phone calls. Let me tell you, I was thin at the time and I just got thinner. It was a great workout. No one ever offered to show me how to work that phone. I came up with a solution. Pull the cord out of the wall. I took the phone, found an empty cubicle, stuck the phone in there. Problem solved. Never got another phone call the entire 6 months I worked there. You don't tell me what to do. I found a solution. It was not the right one. So, before you get frustrated in this class, reach out, talk to me. I'll help you out. All right, that's what I'm here for. But go through that evaluation. If you can't figure out what to do, the idea behind it, open that evaluation up in Word, edit that file, and upload it. Or if you need to, take a picture of it on your phone, fill it out somehow, send it over to me. Either way, let me know what you need. All right. Does anybody need anything or any questions before we get started? Nope, we're good. All right. So this is a short week because we had a day off. It's also what I consider a transitional week here because Friday, the final week assignments open. Can you believe that? Friday, stay caught up this week because on Friday, I opened the last week's assignments early. So if you're caught up, you can jump in on those assignments on starting on Friday. You can actually finish that last week early. Get yourself a final thing. Look at that, Kevin smiling. He's like, yes, freedom. I can see the light. Hallelujah. Yes, he wants out. You do, don't you, Kevin? You want this over. Yeah, that's a good thing because it's also progress, okay? That means you're getting closer to making it through, getting that degree, getting that certification. That's what I want for you. So, let me show you how this is all going to work this week. This is very exciting. I want you guys to get in this class, get through it, get out, get to graduation, and make that ka-ching, right? That's what we want. Okay, so we're going to do some sharing here, and here we go. All right. So I had a couple people get confused. They tried launching assignments here through McGraw-Hill. Don't go through here. That's very confusing if you do because it takes you into the master part of the book and then you got to find your assignments. So don't go through there. Um, Always go through the modules and you'll be able to access what you see down here. I don't have people do clicking here because it wasn't utilized and it was causing people even more confusion. You could go through the modules or you could click on week 3. That will also take you to the modules. But we're going to go through here. If you want to check your grades, check them right there. Click on that. So we're going to go to modules and you're going to see a little bit of a difference here tonight. Here's your resources. That's where you started your class. If you need any help, of course, those are there. But you'll notice now, as of a few minutes ago, it starts on week 2 here. I've hidden the rest from you so you don't get messed up there because week 1 those assignments are no longer accessible. If you didn't get those extensions in and complete those assignments, they're not available. Okay, that's it. We can extend them into week 3. That's a STC policy. All right. So in here, if you didn't get things done, request those through that self-evaluation down here in week 3. Okay, so click on that, and then right here, you'll see there's a little down arrow. If you click on that, what it will do is it's going to open up an item on your computer that will let you download it. Then you can edit that document in Word. Okay, once you have that edited and saved, then click Start Assignment, and then you can drag that file there, or you can say Choose to Upload. If you say Choose to Upload, then it will open up the directory on your machine again, and you can upload it. That's how you do that, and that's the easiest way to complete that item. Okay, also note that by doing that, you will earn attendance. It's an attendance night. And so if you manage to complete everything from week 2, you will have attendance tonight as well. So either way, that's how you gain attendance. So if you completed everything from week 2, you automatically have attendance, or complete this evaluation, that will give you attendance as well. So those are 2 different ways to gain attendance. All right. Also, any assignment in week 3 will gain attendance for you. Okay. So keep that in mind. Any assignment. Okay. Your discussion for this week. It, your first post is tomorrow. While you're in there, I strongly recommend as soon as possible, do that second post. Again, I had people who only earned 40 points because they did not get that second post in. Don't throw away 60 points. Okay. I mean, that's a little more than the majority of the points in the assignment. Quick posting will get you that second point, or that 60 points. Okay, so Excel, we're going to talk about. That is what the program is this week. How many people have a fear of Excel? They've used Excel or they've heard about it, and everyone's dreads formulas. That's the big thing, is people hear formulas. Okay, anything that I ask you to do, I'm going to give you the information. You do not memorize formulas in this class. That's not what it's about. I'm going to show you how to use a couple of smaller formulas, nothing big, okay? Nothing big is going to be asked. I do need to find a program here in just a minute. And so I'll cut the feed for just a short second there to get those to show you how they're utilized for your career. But I want you to think about how it's actually used in your career. People want to know, why am I learning this? I'm never going to use this. Well, actually, you're going to use things a little more than you think. So I want to know, how do you think you could use it in your career? And so I give you some examples already of how it's actually used. So I want you to think about how you could utilize that yourself. Okay. So in welding, tracking of inventory, job costing, quality logs, things like that. Okay, I know out at the docks and the shipyards in Tampa, everything those welders use, they have to put their time, their materials, everything into Excel. Okay, that's how they track everything. HVACs, there's a lot of things that they can use those for. Okay, etc. So take a look at those and then come down here and give it a post. Okay, click reply, give it a post, find another person and post again and be done with it. All right. So that's how you do the discussion this week. Uh, 2 items in there. Okay. Now we have 3 chapters in Excel, or 2 chapters, I'm sorry, and a short quiz. You don't have 3 chapters. And in each one of these, let's see, in chapter 1, I want to see how many items there are in here. Um, so there's 14 items in chapter 1, so less items than the word chapter has in chapter 1, and let me see, in chapter 2, because I modified these from last month. I took items out, and 16. So these have less items than the word chapter. And part of that is I found that there were items that used to be in here that I just didn't feel like they were as productive for you as you really needed. So go through those chapters, and I think you'll find that they're more useful than what could have been in there. I pulled quite a bit out of those 2 chapters. Then you have the short quiz. Now we're going to have a project. I'm going to show you this project, and you're not building this entirely from scratch. Okay, you're going to be working in it, and I'm going to show you about Excel. I'm going to show you some practical things about Excel, a live demo of it, as opposed to here, just take this and run. But I'm going to stop sharing for just a minute because I need to find a file here. And I actually forgot that I wanted to get this out here, or I would have pulled it in sooner. And so let me see. Here we go. I think this is it. Yes, it is. So let me share this back here. So let me do my share here again. Okay, so this is an example of an Excel sheet, and I've got them broken down by careers. And in welding, because this is the first one I got pulled up here, one of the things we have to do is weld testing and the strength of those welds, making sure that they are okay. And depending on the type of weld, the formulas get more complicated. In this case, a single butt weld, insert childish joke there, because it's kind of funny to say that. This is the formula that is used. It's O times T times L, okay, which is the length of the weld, the thickness of the plate, and the tensile strength. Okay, so you have to know the information, and you're just going to multiply those together. So if we come in here, rather than have to recalculate it, so if I change the length in millimeters here, it's not 10 millimeters, it's actually 80 millimeters. And I just hit enter. You'll see that it recalculates here, which is exactly what this is telling us. It's saying, take these 3 things, multiply them together, and get this. That's what this formula, this very strange looking formula, means. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Well, if the thickness of the plate is, instead of 2 millimeters, maybe it's 15. Maybe it's this ginormous thick plate. Okay, and we change that. Now it changes. Well, 15 is ridiculous. It can't be. It's only 4 millimeters. I don't have to recalculate. This is the benefit of Excel. My numbers are always correct once I have a correct formula. I can do this all day long. Now, let's go down here to the double butt weld. You can see now I have to add 2 of these together, then multiply it. Now I'm doing the tensile strength in here, and I have to, you can see where I'm going with this. My formula is getting more complicated. My chance of mistake is getting much harder. Okay, now as I come down here to a double transverse fillet weld, now I have to take 1.414 times the height of the weld times the length of the weld times the tensile strength, and then uh, take all that into consideration. And then I get it all in here, and then I go, you know what? That wasn't 55. That should have been 74. And the tensile strength shouldn't have been 105. That should have been 96. Recalculate that. And so you manually have to recalculate this, but you're not doing it for one. You're doing this for 70 of them. And it better be accurate. Well, if I have to do this for 70 of them, see this little square in the corner? And I've got all my numbers up here. I just take this and I pull it out here. And it's going to copy that formula all the way out. Only difference is it's going to calculate all 70 of these. Now you start to see where that helps with welders. Electrical. Let's take a look at you. Okay, one of the things that you do is you're working with those breaker boxes. Okay, and you have to know what the loads are on things like that. So as I come in here and I'm putting things in and they want these surface lights, okay, well, they originally told me they wanted 75. Well, actually, they wanted 125, so I put that in. Okay, now this is my total kilowatt load here. Okay, because if they flip them all on, we know that load is going to go boom. That startup load is much higher. Now my maximum demand load, it's going to drop. So as I'm putting all these in, I can find out what my total load is going to be on here. I know exactly how many circuits I'm going to have to be putting in. Before, we used to have to walk around with a piece of paper and a pencil, and we had to keep everything written down. Then we go back and we'd have to calculate, and then we come back to the person and say, this is what you need. You walk away from a client and say, I'll be back with the numbers. When you come back, they have a different company. You're going to have this information on the fly. This is how you do it. Okay? HVAC. How many of you ever purchased something from a company and you see an estimate with the logo, your bill to your ship to? Wait a minute, this kind of looks a little like that Word document we just did. Okay? Yeah, Excel can do a total billing here. Now instead of 20 events, I only want 15. Look, my totals are changing. Thermostats, I actually need 4 of those. Okay, I can just add things in, put in a quantity, a price. It's going to calculate it. I can put in my tax rate, boom, 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 etc. Your spreadsheet don't have to look like a regular spreadsheet. Where's all my little boxes? Excel is that program that does these things. This type of billing can be done for any company if you're thinking of starting your own. Medical. Everyone hold on. This is going to freak you out. Boom. Yeah, this is Excel too. You may have seen this when you've been in at the doctor's office. It's got your name, your allergies, your weight. It's got your drugs in here, okay? And what it does is they put in your weight and they put in these drugs, these squares are going to change colors. And if it's not green, it starts to go to yellow. The dosing's getting too high for your weight or your age or depending on the dilution rate, these squares will start to change colors, letting them know you're starting to get into a dangerous area. Or if it's red, you're trying to put a drug in here that contradicts with another drug. Excel does that as well. Every field, and this also works with veterinary medicine too, because drugs are drugs. All right. So every career you can think of this can be used in various ways, shapes, etc. All right. So there's a practicality to this. Now, do I expect you to jump in and create one of those massive sheets like that? Of course I do, but I'm giving you 20 minutes to do it, so it's not like it's a rush. No, that's not, and it's not to scare you. The thing is, I want you to realize that it can go from very simple to complex. Just like everything you're learning in those shops, in those labs, etc. You start off small and then you grow your skill. Your job here, learn the basics, feel comfortable moving around. That's what I want you to have is a small working knowledge of it. All right? Sound good? So let's try some stuff out here. So we're going to work in this project. You will use Excel. Please don't try to use the Google Apps, numbers, etc. And we're going to be working in some sheets, Excel sheets that I've set up for you. They all look basically the same. The descriptions of that match your careers. That's basically the difference between them. And you'll notice that there's some formulas in here. Okay, and I'll explain what those are and how we're going to work with them. But I want to show you some stuff before we do that. Okay, so if you need to use Excel, you go to the student portal. Microsoft 365 is where all the Microsoft programs are. We're going to click on that. If you get the login that pops up that says 365, your login ID and password, those are the same as Canvas. And we're going to click on Apps, and we're going to find Excel. Excel is the green one. And I'm going to create a blank workbook right now. You're going to end up doing upload a file, okay? But right now I'm going to create a blank one so I can demonstrate some stuff for you. Oops, I'm sorry. I am in as a student, so that's probably why it's not letting me in here, or I'm logged in differently. Let me open Excel here this way. Okay, so I have Excel open here, and Excel doesn't look like the friendliest app, okay? So you have a bunch of boxes here, and a lot of times when you open it, you're not going to have a full menu over here, and so you could change that with the view. Um, just come up here and when you take a look up here, make sure you have normal view selected, okay? So if you have something strange going on, make sure you come up to view and click normal, then go back to your home, okay? I'm gonna increase this so that you'll have a little bit larger view here. Okay, so these squares, each one of these squares is called a cell, C-E-L-L, like I typed in there. And each cell, as I click on it, is referenced by a column. This is a column and a row. Okay, each one of these is a row. Columns run up and down, and I remember that, but like the columns on an old building, those white columns you would see on houses, etc. And rows, I grew up around farms, so these remind me of rows of corn or beans or things like that that we used to grow on the farms. Okay, so if I click on a square here, this particular one would be G6. Okay, and if I look up in this corner up here, you will see in what's called the name box, you will see a G6 up there in that corner. This one over here, this is J7. This one here is E8. And you'll notice as I'm clicking, it highlights both of those. This is H5, etc. If I hold down the left mouse button and move, it will highlight a bunch of them. This would be called a range. Okay, a range is a group of cells that are highlighted. Okay, and this would be F8 all the way down to M14. So when you do a range, it's always your starting one to your ending one. This would be range G3 through M3. Okay, so you can have ranges that go across and down. You do not have diagonals. You cannot do a diagonal. Okay, now that's going to become important because of when we put in data. Now, Excel loves data, and that's part of the reason why you put in projects and things in it. So I can put in a 1 here, and I can put in a 2 here, and I can put in a 3 here. That's nice and slow, okay? But if I highlight these, you'll notice in this corner, there's a little green square right in there. If I go on top of it, you'll notice my cursor changed from a white cross to a black cross. If I hold down my left mouse button and pull it, and then let go, boom, it fills it in, okay? Now, if I highlighted just the 1 and pulled down, it would just copy ones, okay? But if I had a 1 here and then the 2, and I highlighted both of those, again, going on that corner, pull down with the left mouse, it would again do the range, okay? Now, if I had a 1 here and I highlighted both and pulled it across, it's going to go up by that difference of 8 because it's going to recognize that there is 8 difference between those. So the next 8 would be 17, the next 8 would be 25, and so on. Okay, I could highlight from here to here and pull this down, and you will see that it's going to make that jump again as best it can. Okay, now if I want to get rid of this data, I can highlight everything that I want to get rid of and press that delete key, or I can come over here and pull down holding the left mouse button, and that highlights everything across, and press the delete as well. The other way I could do it is if I click in the corner and that highlights everything on the screen, and I could press the delete key there. Okay. Now, other things that Excel considers as numerics, if I type in Monday and then grab that corner, pull it across, boom, it will do that. And it doesn't care which direction I go. I can go up and down as well. Whoops, I actually only wanted to grab the one, not the group, and it will do all of them. Okay. The other thing, if I put in March, I can fill in data across like that as well. Because what Excel actually does is it stores this data as numerics. All this is considered numeric fields, and it just translates it to words to make it easy for us to read. So I'm going to click up there, press delete, clear that out. Okay, so the other thing is those dreaded formulas. Okay, so let's say we had 1 here and we had 2 here, and I want to know what the total is over here. 1 plus 2 should be equal to 3. Nice and easy, right? But Excel needs to be taught how to do this. So when we do math, we say 1 plus 2 equals. Excel needs to know that. So we start off with equals. Well, what are we going to do? So I come over here and I click with the left mouse button. And look what it puts in there, G5. G5, that's that square. And what do I want to do to it? I want to add, so I just type plus. And what do I want to add? I'm going to click on this one. What did it put? It put H5 because that's the square. And then I just hit that return or that enter key, depending on your keyboard, and it says 3. Wow, that's a lot of work just to get a 3 in there. Okay, but what if this 2 wasn't a 2? What if it was a 4? And I hit enter. Look, my 5 changed. And the reason why it changed is it's not adding just that number. If I click over here and I come up to this big bar up here, it's called the formula bar. And you can see it says it's actually equal to whatever is stored here plus whatever I put in here. So the way I look at it is it's a box. And if you took 2 cardboard boxes and put a number in each cardboard box and say, add those, that's what it does. And then I say, pull out one of those numbers out of that cardboard box and put another number in there and then re-add it. That's kind of the way Excel works. So given that, I can come here and click on this and I can change that to a 7 and hit enter. And it re-adds it. Okay. But now, what if there was an 11 in here, and there was a 22 in here, and a 55 in here, and an 84? And I want to add all of those together. Okay. Well, I don't want to sit there and have to click, 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 click. There's an easier way. I can come up here to the Formulas tab, click that, and see this funny looking M on its side? It got lazy and just fell over. Or it's a weird looking E. I'm going to click that. And as soon as I clicked that, it said, oh, did you want to add all these together? It just assumes. Well, if I came here, see where it turned to a hand? If I held down my left mouse, I can move that and change that. I can just grab it right there and I can slide this back and forth. And see how it's changing that formula? But yeah, I wanted to grab the whole thing. So I'll just leave it as it is. And I hit my enter key. Boom. It just added it. So if I click on that and come up here, it says sum G5 to L5. Well, this is G5. This is L5. And it says sum. Add it all together. So anyone who thought, well, that was a lot of work for just adding that, well, get your calculators out. Let's see, is it a lot of work? This could have been a 5, this could have been 33, this could have been 14, this could have been 25, this could have been 10, this could have been, let's see, we'll put 14 in here, this could have been 26 here. Did you keep up with those? Because Excel did. Now you see why they use it for inventory, because if these were parts and people are constantly changing them, you don't want to have to come back and keep re-adding. Okay, so how does this work? Well, you saw how when you're in electronics, people change their mind on, I want a plug, no, I want a light, no, I want this. Your circuitry's constantly having to be updated then. Okay, you're on a project and you're welding something that's massive, maybe 800 pieces. And the client comes in and says, we want to grow this project by 36.3%. So you have to recalculate everything, just like a GPS, recalculating. Okay, that means all your lengths have to change. Now, what's that going to do to every angle you have to cut. Every angle you have to remeasure. So what we do is we leave a square up here with a form factor. You just come up there, change the percentage, boom, all your calculations are done, you're back on track. That's why some shops are much more agile than others, okay? You come in and the MA or medical assistant weighs you. You hit that crosstown buffet, pigged out, you picked on 10 pounds. They weigh you. They wait for you to go around the corner before they chuckle, and then they put that weight in. And it's like, uh-oh, all your medications have to be redone. Okay? Detail. Y'all are doing really good at following details, and that's going to be key between you being good at your job and being great. Okay? That's what's going to make you go above and beyond those details. You're going to see people who are good at wiring things and people who are great. It's in the details. You're going to see people who are good vet assistants and people who are great. It's in the details and how they handle things. How many people have already seen good welding skills and great welding skills? It's in the details. Anybody can put those two pieces of metal together, but who can do it with a fine touch? That's going to be the difference. Same thing here. Pay attention to the details and what the project is asking. Okay. Now, how do we put data in? You click on a box and you type. You type correctly, not hello, hello. I have parrots, so one of them says hello, so I can use that as my excuse for typing that wrong. So you type in hello, okay? Now, if I want this to come and be copied down, again, go to the green square, boom, you can copy data. Okay, there's a reason why I'm telling you this, because you're going to be putting in data. Some of these things can help you put it in quicker. Okay, now, if I put in a number, 10, okay, nice little number, I'm going to go to the home. Up here, this little square, you're going to be using this in your chapters. It says general, but if I click it down and click currency, now it's $10. I wish I could do that to my wallet. Pull it down, boom, those are $10. Okay, now if I type this in as 25 and hit enter, see, it's keeping that format. Okay, if you look under here, you'll see all kinds of formats automatically for dates, etc. So if I type in 01/01/26, then come back here and it's recognizing I put that in as a date. Now if I say long date, look what it changed that to. Okay, so don't forget you can quickly format things up here. Oh, this shouldn't have been a date. That should have been a percentage. There we go. Oops, 1,000%. That doesn't look right. Maybe I should shift those decimal points. Maybe that's what's going on. Oops, that's the wrong way, etc. So you can move things around up here, look for stuff up here. So that's how you put things in. So now let's take a look at our project here. Okay, so I'm going to close this out. I don't want to save that. And so it's got me logged in incorrectly here. I wish it would let me just launch Excel. It might let me upload it. Okay. So I'm going to go back here, go back to our project, find your career. I'll pick on electrical tonight. Click on that down arrow and it will download it. I'm gonna send it to my desktop to demo. Make sure you keep track of where you download it to. I'm gonna save it. Okay. And then what's going to happen is when you're over here, I'm going to say upload a file, and I'm going to go to that same spot and click on that file and say open. Let me see if it'll let me log in. There we go. Okay, so this is what your files are basically going to look like. Okay, I've created it for you. Now, any of the blue fields you're going to populate. Okay, so any of these blue fields here, you're going to fill in. Okay, now I filled in the other ones because I don't want you to have to be basically taking a typing test. Okay, so if we look at the project itself, what it says to do, make sure you save your file with your name in it. So in case something happens to your file. So try to save your file with your file name in it if possible. So we're going to be adding all this stuff in. Again, those are the blue fields, and these are the calculations we're going to use. I'm going to show you how to do those, but they're in here. And make sure we use the currency for any price related columns and add your name to the title. Okay, so up here, we're going to click on this field here. And when you click on it, you'll see it up here, or you can click and type in there. I find it easier to come up here, click, and then put in a space, a dash, a space, and I just put in my name. Now, as I type up there, you'll notice it types it down here. Just hit my return key. That part's done. Okay, now remember we just did an auto sum. If I come down here, click on this blue square, go to my formulas, get rid of that message saying they've got new formulas. Look for this little funny E where it says auto sum. Click on that. It's going to ask me, do I want to highlight that? Yes. Hit return. Boom. There's my total right there. Okay. Now, total cost. Now, if I've got a quantity and a price, my total cost would be equal. Click the quantity. And then to multiply, you use the little star or asterisk. That's that little thing there. Mine's next to my forward slash or above my minus because I have a number key. If you don't have a number key, it is above the 8 on your keyboard. So put that in and then left click on unit price and then hit your return key. And there's the total cost. Now, a discount, some places might give you a discount. If you want to put a discount in, you can put an amount in. If I put in like $5, go ahead and hit return and then miscellaneous fees. Okay, now this is the way a final cost would work. Equal, okay, would be your total cost. So I left click. Any discount, you would say minus, and then click on discount, and then fees would make the price go up. So you would do a plus, and then click on the fees, and then hit your return key. And that would give you your final cost. Okay, so we'll do the next one. This again would be equal to this times this, enter. You don't have to put a fee in there. You can leave that as 0. And then your final cost, we're going to do something interesting. We're going to click here and then see that little green thing there? We're going to pull that straight down. And look at that. It calculated the total. Why? Because if I click on the top one, it's D3 minus E3 plus F3. So it did all these, but if I did this one, it changed them to 4s. Excel will copy the formula and change it to the next row. Everybody got that? Okay, so given that, let's do this next row. And we're going to go to that green square, pull down. If you did 12 times 250, that would be $30. Okay, now you can put a discount in here if you want. That's fine. I could put a $3 discount in here. Come over here and then find that green square, copy it down. And if you did the formula where you take the 30 minus 3, which would be 27, and then add 250 back to it, it would come out 29.50. So once you do this formulas once, just copy them down, copy them down, copy them down. Okay? So now we're going to get brave. We're going to grab that green square. We're going to pull it all the way down. Boom. Okay. Now let's put in some discounts. We're going to give this one a $4 discount. We'll give this one a $6 discount. $15 discount, whatever that one is. And give them, that's a big discount. Do a $20 discount. And we'll do a $5 discount. Okay. Now we want to know the totals on these. This one here, we would go auto sum. Boom. Auto sum this one. Boom. This one here, we would just grab that formula, pull it down. That would give us each those totals. Then auto sum the last. And you can auto sum this one. This one's not as important. Boom. Are there any questions on how that was done? So that's the great part about using Excel. You really only had to do the formulas once, and then you can copy them, and it will change it for you. Okay. And if you want to see these, this is this row here, multiplying those two. This is just a keyed in amount. And then this one here, if you look at that, it will highlight those. So it's this minus this plus this, because you can see it color codes them for you. Okay. Now, once you've completed this, the best way to save it is File, create a copy, download a copy. Okay, and I'm going to put it back where I had it on my demo, and I'm going to say complete so that I know this is the one that I completed. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to go back to my project up here where it says start assignment, and here where it says choose a file to upload. And this is the one that says complete. I'm going to choose that and submit the assignment. And there's the confetti. Okay, so that's how you do the project start to finish, including saving it and uploading it. All right. So are there any questions about how to do this? Okay. Now this recording, like I said, I'll put it up on um, the system. The link, I'll send the link out as well. If you're not sure how to open the links when I send them out, let me show you where they are. Um, you will find them under the modules. And you will find it up at the top under resources, past live Teams recordings. This will turn like these where it says the wording will be in red. It won't have this black background. You'll click on it and it will take you to the video, which will be stored on YouTube. Okay. So you will be able to watch it on any device as far as that's concerned. Once you have that link, you can watch that on any device so you can do the assignment as you're watching it. All right. Now, next Monday will be our last live class. So be prepared for that. This weekend is our last full weekend. So I do want to emphasize that. Next week, when the class ends, it will end on a Thursday at 10 p.m. Not 11:59, not midnight, 10 p.m. So it is a little bit earlier and it is on a Thursday, so you will not have a weekend to work on things or catch things up next week. At 10 p.m., what will happen is the class itself will lock. I can't unlock the class. That is a system thing that all the classes will lock at 10 p.m. So there are no extensions. The class ends, grades are finalized, and the class is cleared for the next class to move in the following Monday. So please plan your time. Internet, if it goes down for you, your system breaks, you have to work overtime. Those are incredible excuses or reasonings, but it still doesn't stop the class from ending. So please be prepared for that. All right. And that is it. Continue to be awesome. Continue to do those. Reach out if you need help. And I'm here for it. And away you go. You're almost there. One more week after this. All right. That's it. Y'all have a great week. And we'll see you online.